So if you're one of those parents that is on that aisle in the pharmacy where they have all kinds of sleep aids because you're looking for the newest gummy or ashwagandha or valerian root or whatever it is for your child's sleep, you're not alone. This is a very common problem where, out of sheer desperation and in an effort to improve their kids' sleep, many parents resort to some kind of supplement or sleep aid or the other. And today we're going to be talking about 5 ways to actually boost your child's sleep naturally without resorting to supplements. And that's something that is so important. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Funke Afolabi-Brown. I'm the founder of the Restful Sleep Place and Restful Sleep MD, and the author of my book, Beyond Tired, a sleep physician's guide to solving your child's sleep problems for good. So, what are 5 ways by which we can really boost our kids' sleep naturally without necessarily needing a sleep aid, a sleep supplement, or medications? I think these are fundamental practices that are so important that is going to set your child up for sleep success. And this is such an important place to start that even when you go and reach out for help, say you take them to the pediatrician, what your pediatrician is most likely going to ask is, do you have a bedtime routine? What are you doing to set them up for sleep success? So I want us to cover those basics so that then we can build on from there. Because at the end of the day, if you're relying on sleep aids, I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm just saying if that's how we're choosing to help our kids sleep, we also have to check in and say, what's the long term plan? And so having these fundamentals, understanding that this is a way that your child's body can learn to sleep naturally is just so important. So let's get started. The first thing I would say is having a consistent bedtime routine. Now, that might sound very cliche, but it turns out here, this is the thing. Your child's brain produces a hormone called melatonin. And that melatonin is released in the evening, right? As it starts to get dark, they start to feel sleepy, and then, the melatonin is produced and then they sleep. Now, there are other things that help boost that process of falling asleep. And one of those things are routines or habits that we do again and again and again. And what is a routine? There are 2 or 3 habits or activities that we're doing that prepares us for bed. So whether it's taking a shower, reading a book, singing a song, and then getting into bed, make sure that becomes habitual. It's kind of a part of them so that they know that once we say, hey, it's bedtime, let's go get ready, and you start their routine, their brain starts to anticipate sleep. So this is one way we can naturally support those natural rhythms that our child already has. The second thing is really you want to optimize your sleep environment for your child. So here's the problem. There's a lot of light pollution, right? There's a lot of noise pollution, and all these things get in our kids' way of really being able to sleep, right? There's a lot of artificial lightning, there's a lot of noise on the streets and things like that. So you really want to support your child's sleep environment as much as possible. And there are different ways to do this. Usually I would recommend you a room that is very cool, meaning that it's cooler than the rest of the room. People talk about a range of temperatures from about 68 degrees Fahrenheit to 72, but I just suggest that you find what works for you. Make sure that they're not wearing too many layers when they're going to bed. Make sure their room is nice and cool. You also want to make sure the room is dark, because when there's darkness, guess what? The sleep hormone, melatonin, is also known as the hormone of darkness, and that emerges nicely and helps them with good sleep. And then you want to have some noise control. Make sure that the room is not too noisy. There's not too much disruption. They might need a white noise machine or something to mask out any external noises as well. So cool, dark, noise free. So that's how you optimize the environment and sort of combat all the artificial stuff that's coming from the outside that might be impacting their sleep. The third is really encourage physical activity. This is so important because, when kids are very active, especially as they're younger, what happens is that their deep sleep improves, their mood improves, their alertness improves, and you're setting them up for good sleep the next day. Get them outside, get them playing, jumping on the trampoline, taking a walk, running around. All of that stuff is good. I would say the caveat though is that you want to avoid excessive physical activity too close to bedtime, because if they're excessively active too close to bedtime, they might actually be wound up instead of being wound down. So instead of the backyard Olympics at 7 p.m., maybe opt for somewhere earlier in the day or midday or so as a way to have that physical activity. So you want to avoid intense vigorous activity about an hour or two before bedtime for your kids. And then number four, I would say, is really limit activating things at bedtime. So similar to very intense physical activity, you want to avoid things like devices, the phones, the iPad, about an hour or so before bed. Again, artificial light will suppress your body's natural melatonin rhythms, and that will affect their sleep. So again, we're thinking, how do we use what we have to naturally boost our kids' sleep? And that's one big one. And so have a conversation, have a digital curfew to say, okay, maybe at certain time at 7 p.m. or an hour before bed, we're putting those devices away and we're choosing non-device related activities, right? They could read a book, they could play card games, or just talk. Those kind of things are much more helpful. And then the last thing, but not the least, is really making sure that you have a consistent sleep schedule. So this is so important because your child's melatonin or circadian rhythms and internal clocks, all of those things respond to cues, right? When those cues are consistent, when your body knows that we always wake up at a certain time, guess what? It reinforces those internal rhythms. It reinforces that internal clock to say, it's morning, we wake up at 8 a.m., we go to bed at 7 p.m. And that repeats itself. And it also boosts your child's sleep overall because restful sleep does not just happen at night. It literally starts from the moment your kid wakes up. So, what are they doing when they wake up? Expose them to light, get them outside, have them eating rich, healthy foods, get them connecting, avoid devices too close to bedtime. All those things are natural ways to boost your child's sleep rhythms and to make sure that they get the best sleep quality that they deserve. So I hope this has been helpful. We've talked about quite a number of ways to opt for natural instead of supplemental. Now, if you need supplement, you absolutely may need that. I think it is important that you have a discussion with your child's doctor, and I think it's also important that you build these healthy foundations first. So think consistent routines, think optimizing their sleep environment, think encouraging physical activities, think limiting those activating devices before bed, and also think having a consistent sleep and wake schedule. We've talked about a whole lot of things, and guess what? I delve into this and so much more in my book, Beyond Tired, a sleep physician's guide to solving your child's sleep problems for good. It is available now. It is on Amazon. I want you to go grab a copy, get a copy for a fellow parent, and let's help our kids thrive to reach their fullest potential. If this has been helpful, please forward this along, like this video, share it, subscribe, and help me make sleep a thing. Until next time, I hope you rest well.